Hey guys, how's it going? Kaeyoh from Tempo Storm here, and today I wanted to do a quick video just talking about some of my experiences on the PTR. If you guys didn't know, Blizzard put up the PTR yesterday, and you can get on there now and start messing around with it. Um, Fair warning, there's a lot of crazy shit going on the on the server right now. You've got the treasure goblins and base. You've got mouse with cleanse. You've got useless Vikings now. It's actually pretty crazy. So yeah, I just want to give some of my first impressions on different things. Starting with the map. The map is definitely a lot of fun. That's one thing I'll say. Just playing on this map, you always have people running around in the middle fighting, and that still might be because everybody's figuring the map out and doesn't really know how to play it well yet. But it's just a good time running around, just having that like constant brawl going on with no towers or anything to run to. So that's a good time. When it comes to the actual bosses, though, the bosses feel pretty weak when they're actually pushing in lane until like super late game, which I'm not sure if that's going to be something that is actually accurate when we see like good teams playing with it. But from my experience so far, even with the shield and the buff that they get after they win their little battle in mid lane, they don't seem to push very hard. It's probably equivalent to like pushing like a 30 or 40 skull golem or something like that. It usually gets like the front wall at most, and at worst it'll barely get a tower. So something to consider for sure. I do like this map overall, just the general design of the map. You've got really long lanes, and in the long lanes you've got a lot of good ganking routes. If you look on the sides here, one of my favorite things about this map is actually these little side crevices that they have. These are actually really long routes for like ganking. Like if you snipe a fort in one of these side lanes, having the ability to come run through this side right here and gank all the way around behind this is actually a pretty huge advantage. So we'll probably see some cool strategy in terms of actually like lane control and zoning people, because you have that constant threat of somebody coming through here. Definitely you'll be like a well contested point when it comes to wards and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the map is going to be really interesting one to see how the real strategies play out on it. They've also got this gate right here on both sides, right in the middle. Instead of having like an actual lane coming out of it, you've just got a random gate. And they kind of did something similar with like the Tomb and the Spider Queen, how they have that one crevice where there's like the gate and the Fog of War, which that spot is kind of awkward. Like it never really gets used that much, but it's kind of cool that it's there regardless. But this one I definitely see there's going to be a lot more use for it, because you can just go straight in without even worrying about the keeps. It's very exposed too. It's not like you have to commit anything to getting in there. The other thing worth noting is that the mercenaries are different on this map. These Khazra Impalers are pretty cool. They really mess up the buildings. Something to note too is like if you're going bribe, I'm not sure how it works yet. I haven't really gotten a chance to test all of this, but bribe stacks, as opposed to the giants that we normally see, which are the pair of two, where the bribe stacks work out really nicely. I don't know how many bribe stacks these will actually consume, but that might be something to consider. Bribe might not be as effective. The hounds with the guy who reses them as well, this doesn't seem really quite as strong as the knights, to be honest, that are on most maps, but that's just kind of my first impression on it. I'm not sure if that's actually the case, but yeah, it's definitely a fun map. Moving into some of the actual like character changes, I did get a chance to play Vikings, and it's not good. Vikings are definitely much weaker. The changes really hurt. So whether or not, I mean, I'm still gonna give Vikings a chance. I'm not completely writing them off yet, but from what I've seen so far, they over nerfed them. It seems like they took so many different parts of the Vikings and nerfed them, rather than just nerfing like one thing. They just nerfed everything about Vikings. So not only do you not get the actives anymore, which I thought was really strange, that you can't get all the actives and that you get a bribe now instead of getting Norse Force and Spin to win. It just seems crazy to me. They really hurt. The choices at 1 and 4 now are pretty much terrible. There really isn't a good option for you to take besides taking like bribe level 1. So like I said, I haven't totally written them off yet. I still want to do a little bit more experimenting with it, but I was trying to make them work yesterday, and they just feel so much weaker. I think especially on like if you play them on Garden or something, it might still have a place, just because the Vikings are so inherently valuable on that map, because they can like get Olaf in the plant terror while you're pushing with the other Vikings, and also freeing up 4 members of your team to push with the terror. That is a huge amount of inherent value. So I think maybe Vikings will still be good and viable on that map, but for the other maps, I don't know. Not only like their team fight is so much weaker, but they also just before, at least at level 4, spin to win gave the Vikings a good tool to be effective, and they could start like harassing heavy, and they could clear waves quickly, stuff like that. Now you don't even get spin to win, so you're really stuck with 3 super subpar auto attackers that don't really offer too much to you. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Vikings. Promote is another thing, that got really nerfed. Promote is pretty much that whole play style is probably not going to be seen anymore at the high level of play. Keep in mind too, all of my thoughts are coming from like the competitive mindset. As far as whether the characters will still be good at kind of like lower level play and stuff like that, and just playing for fun, I'm sure they'll still have a place. But for things like Promote, the fact that the player can actually clear the Promote just as fast now as a regular minion, I think that's gonna pretty much shut down the value of taking Promote. You're just gonna have somebody go back and throw 1 combo on a wave and clear the Promote before they rotate. On big maps, there might still be some place for Promote, especially like if you pick it on characters like Asman or Brightwing, where because of their global presence, they don't have to actually be there the whole time to get use out of the Promote. So that makes a player rotate down to the Promote, which is a huge rotation, so they still have to make a huge committal of their resources to deal with it. But it's not going to be the same thing where, like, on small maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen, Promote will be completely useless pretty much. So I think that's overall probably going to be a good thing, though. I mean, it's gonna encourage more team fighting. It's gonna be more fun to watch the competitive matches. Sometimes the competitive matches at this point have turned into just a series of massive amounts of promoting and split pushing, to where there's actually no team fighting going on for like 10 minutes at a time. So that's probably gonna be over and done with. So next up, we've got Sylvanas. Sylvanas did play quite a bit of, and I was really excited to try out the new possession and have some fun with that. And it's actually it's pretty fun to use, but overall possession, even though you can get a whole wave, it doesn't feel like it's doing that much as an ultimate. We did have some fun. I was playing with Zoya, and he was playing Asmodan while I was playing Sylvanas. And what I would do is just kind of like run up past all the waves and everything, just run right up to their like fort or keep wall, and then I would just promote the wave right in front of the wall, and then he could promote the wave that I had just possessed. So that was a pretty cool combo. That's definitely something, probably the most fun I had with the ability, like trying out some strategies like that. So there's some cool, interesting things you can do with it. But as opposed to, like getting the silence, I don't know if I would realistically ever take possession. But it seems like a step in the right direction, but I still don't think it's going to be that impactful. But we'll see about that. The other thing, the Treasure Goblin thing is definitely kind of weird. I really expected it to be kind of something like they would put the Treasure Goblin out on a map somewhere, where you actually, would have to like find it and kill it, kind of the same way they do it in Diablo or whatever. Obviously, like not in custom games and stuff like that, but just when you're doing your regular like quick matches and things, it just seems a little silly to put it right in the base. It feels just like it's being handed to you. It just feels dumb. But overall, I like the concept. But yeah, guys, that's kind of some of my first impressions. from playing on it yesterday. I didn't get to do that much on it yet. I mean, I just started playing it yesterday, but it seems really interesting to actually experiment with the different daze effects that they have now and stuff as well, and just seeing like what actually gets interrupted now. Of course, I'm sure you guys know, like, you know, Tychus grenade doesn't interrupt things like strafe anymore and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a transition period getting used to that, because by habit you're so used to being able to interrupt those things right away. But yeah, overall, I think the biggest change you're going to see is more team fight, less Vikings, and the healers definitely have a lot more power now that they all have cleanse. So you're going to see more of a wide range of healers being picked up regularly rather than it just being the cleanse supports. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys on the PTR hopefully this week. Hope you guys have a good one. Take care.